How many? How much? How often? Find out what you know about what a new pet needs on our puppy quiz. A 3-time loser and a woman at the end of a rope. Both will get a last chance from Pet Trainer 911. All this plus Faith, the miracle dog, on this week's edition of Animal Attractions.
Hi, I'm Megan Blake, and this is my cat, Toot Sweet. Welcome to Animal Attractions, the show about the deep affection people have for their pets. Here's co-host Alex Boylan with a pup quiz to help you decide if you're really ready for your new pet.
It's easy to fall in love, but it's not always easy to think clearly when the object of your affection has soft hair, big warm eyes, and pleads, "Take me home with you." But before you say yes to your child getting a puppy, ask yourself, are you truly ready?
Well, the first day Jake came home and asked us for a puppy, we weren't sure what we were going to do or how we were going to handle it. We knew that it was going to be a big change and a big responsibility for us and for him.
We also have a 14-month-old baby girl, and she's into everything. So that is definitely a concern. We want to have some kind of puppy that would be good with a toddler as well.
So, we thought the smartest thing to do was to start doing some research.
Okay, first question. How many times a day are you prepared to feed your puppy? 2, 3, or is it 4 times a day?
One thing I didn't realize with puppies, they have to be fed 4 times a day. And I just wanted to make sure I was willing to take on that commitment.
Do you think he needs to get a brush and brush that hair out of his
Yeah,
eyes?
I think so. When we decided to go forward with this and get a puppy, we wanted to make sure that Jake was a part of deciding what kind of dog to get.
Yeah, we read that children who are involved in the decision-making process end up being more committed to the pet long-term.
And he realized that, yeah, a puppy needs a lot of things. Like, you have to feed the puppy, you have to make sure the puppy has water.
Okay, next question. What's the minimum amount of time per day you should spend walking, training, and just playing with your puppy? A quarter hour, a half an hour, or at least a full hour?
You have to spend at least an hour a day just playing with the puppy in the yard. And we really need to count on Jake to take on that part of the responsibility, because I have a lot going on with the house and the kids.
So we looked at some small breeds, we looked at medium breeds, we even looked at some large breeds like the Great Dane.
We finally decided on a golden retriever.
Yeah, I want this one.
They have a mild temperament, they're athletic, they're pretty much the best family dog you can get.
Yeah, I mean, I had a golden retriever growing up, and we absolutely loved the dog. And we like to do things like play with it in the backyard, take it on runs on the beach, and so I knew that with little Sam here, we'd be able to do all the same things.
We've all heard it can be expensive having a puppy. So how much money do you expect to spend during your puppy's first year? $100, $1,000, or $1,500?
Not to mention the cost of the puppy itself. You're looking at about $1,500 for the first year.
Yeah, there's so many things, so many bells and whistles. I mean, leashes, collars, crates, blankets, vaccinations.
Food.
Yeah. Another big challenge was housebreaking, potty training the dog.
How often a day should you take your puppy out to potty? 2, 5, or is it 10 times a day?
Some experts say the puppy needs to go out as many as 10 times a day.
Did you know it's a good idea to set up house rules for your kids so your puppy feels more comfortable? Actually, there are 3.
Yeah, first of all, Jake, no running. Because it can excite the puppy could accidentally bite one of the kids. The second was no screaming, because it could startle the puppy. And the third was we thought it was important to let the dog eat in peace. He's he's been a great addition, but it's been a lot of work.
And it's so much fun seeing the kids take care of him and play with him. They're just having a great time. And, Jake having the responsibility of feeding the dog and, taking the dog on walks has really, I think, helped with his self-confidence. He really feels like a, big boy who can take care of his puppy.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing the way he's been nurturing that dog. And I think Sam's been a great addition to our family.
Abby the dog has lived a very sheltered life, but not in the way you would hope. Abby has spent most of her young life in and out of dog shelters. Why? Her bad behavior is just too hard to handle.
Abby! Abby! Abby!
Her new owner, Ann, now believes Coach Ronald White, our pet trainer 911, is probably Abby's last resort.
Yeah, she told me she had a dog for 15 years and her dog passed away, so she wanted to get another dog.
After she died, I wasn't going to get another dog, but after several months of resisting, I went to the shelter and I was just looking. And this little Abby was standing there in a cage so quietly and so beautifully and looking at me like, I'd really like to come home.
She picked him, took him home, and 3 days later, 4 days later, he was out of control.
And then after about a week, the honeymoon was ended. And she turned into a Jack Russell terrorist.
Her dog ran the house. Was able to get on the furniture, run through the house. She dare not open that front door or she'd be chasing that dog down the street.
One of the worst things she did was also the most dangerous, that she would run out the door and take off down the street, and she was gone, and I couldn't get her back. I'm not young, I'm not completely healthy, and I couldn't chase her. And I worried about where she would go because she's really fast. And I didn't want her in the street with cars, and I didn't want her being messed around with other dogs, and I just couldn't contain her or make her come back.
Abby!
She jumped up on me, and she jumped on everybody, and she jumped on the furniture, and she licked people, and she started to get real mouthy and growly. And she would stand like right here on the floor and bark at me because she wanted me to do something, and I thought, well, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be the boss.
It was too much dog for her.
She had been returned to the shelter 3 times. I didn't know that when I got her. I knew she had been returned once for not getting along with other dogs. But I needed her to not be returned to the shelter again. I felt like I would be letting her down and myself as well, just for giving up and not trying just because I didn't know what to do. And it got to be a point of pride for me because I'm a therapist and I work with foster kids who are severely disturbed because they've had so many placements and it doesn't make them better. I'm beginning to think it's quite a bit the same with dogs as it is with people. And she had been returned, it's really odd, but she had been returned about 3 months after every adoption, almost to the day. So my solution was to get some training. So I took her and she failed. And I failed too. We couldn't even get her to walk on a leash. And I tried all kinds of different lengths of leads. I tried everything I could think of, and I couldn't even walk her down the street. And nobody else could either.
When she called me, I took and went over to her house, and she told me what her dog would do, and I told her I can help her.
Come on in.
Okay.
I have her in the kitchen here for you.
Oh, okay, you got a beautiful home.
Thank you very much. We like it.
Well, Abby got it made.
Yeah, Abby's in charge of it, unfortunately, right now. And here she is in her kennel.
Oh, okay. Do you have that list I had you to make out for your dog?
Yes, I got it right here. It's 2 pages, though, a lot of
okay,
stuff.
Okay.
Can I ask you something honestly?
Yes.
Do you really think you can get rid of all those behaviors?
Oh, yes. The dog is going to listen to me like he's my dog.
Okay.
And then it's all about training you. I don't think she was quite as confident as I was.
she just was so unmanageable. And I'm not a person who expects a lot from an animal.
Well, I told Ann that I'm going to have to take her dog
Hi, Abby.
back to boot camp, and that's my house.
I honestly felt like that was our last shot, and that if he couldn't do that, then she may be destroyed.
Good girl. When I first come back with her dog, I take and just let the dog get to know me, pet and love on the dog, because the dog don't know me. And so, and feed the dog and just play with him for 7 or 8 days. Just me and him getting to know each other. Want to get the ball? Huh? Come on. And then once I know that he bonding to me, jumping on me, just treat me like he treats Ann, well then that's when he goes through his training.
Heel.
I won't tell him to sit and praise him.
Stop.
I'll just tell him to sit,
Heel.
and I'll give him a treat. And I won't play with him on the walks.
Sit.
I'll just let him work with me, because he's working. He knows the difference.
Heel. Place.
So we separate everything.
Stop.
There's structure
Sit.
and there's love. At Ann's house, she would get a lot of love and very little bit of structure.
Heel.
I'll take your dog
Place.
and train him, but I'll be consistent in what I'm doing with the sit, the down, the stay, and I'll separate love and structure.
Stop. Heel.
We spend a lot of time
Back.
working on
Stay.
obedience at the door.
Stay.
A lot of time.
We'll take him out for the dog to get used to being around people.
Place. Stop. Sit.
Hi, did you need any help, sir?
No, no, thank you.
When I take a dog into a store, I want him to be obedient. I don't want him to pull me towards people he don't know. I want him to sit down and stay when I sit down.
Sit.
And when the lady
Sit.
waits on me or somebody come past me, I don't want my dog jumping up on them. I called Ann up and asked her was she ready to be trained. She said yes. I went to her house. I demonstrated what the dog would do, and she was all excited, ready for it. Come here. You tell him to do this. Come here. Then you time out. And then you just tell him to stay and walk away. Then when you want him to come to you, you tell him, come here.
When she first came back, I was amazed. I couldn't believe it. I really didn't. He told me he was going to bring me back a different dog, and I kind of thought he actually had, because she was so quiet and calm and happy.
So what I want you to do, I want you to not to say her name, just to call her, and she'll come to you.
Okay.
Just tell her, come here.
Come here. Come here.
Send her back to timeout. Tell
Time
her.
out. That really works.
There you go. When you send her to timeout, don't praise her. Don't say that's a good girl and
Okay.
all that mushy stuff, because if you do, she'll think you playing with her. They always want to pet and love on the dog when he does something. I say, no love. This is structure. Just tell her, come here.
Come here. He understands
Come here.
how dogs work, and he understands how to make them happy and what they need, and he can teach it. So that's what I needed.
Now, when you take your hands off of her, I want you to send her back to her timeout.
Okay. Time out. Look at that.
Don't praise her, because you want it to be the norm. You want to just be able to tell her. You want her to know her commands just like she knows her name.
When he finally brought her home after all that time, I was just out of my mind excited.
How you doing?
I was so excited to see if it was going to actually work, and if I could do it, because I wasn't at all convinced that I would be able to handle all that energy. This is my girl.
Graduation day.
This is my
She
girl.
said, Ron, you don't know that if this didn't work, the dog was going back.
Think she'll run away?
Oh no, you can take the leash off of him.
She was tickled to death about her dog listening to her. She can open the front door, he don't run out. She sits down and the dog don't bark at her to make her talk to her. She was tickled to death about it.
Just call her. Walk away from her.
Come here. Come here.
That dog will never go back to rescue. That dog is there till the end, till the dog grows old.
I can't believe she's doing this. Look at her.
Well, you can go anywhere with her. She'll follow you, just like she does in the house.
Come here. I like to make her go in circles. There are probably some dogs that don't need that level of training, But my dog had no idea that she was a dog or that she needed any kind of the work that he did with her, but he's made her happy and he's made me happy too. Oh, thank you so much, Ron. I really
Anytime.
appreciate it very
I'm
much.
always your dog trainer. You just call me if you have any problems.
Sure will.
She's trained, dog's trained, everything is good.
I'm very happy that this is something that I've been able to accomplish for an animal that I didn't know in November, but she really needed to be with me. She's a wonderful, energetic little spirit, and I'm very happy for Ron to have made it possible for us.
There's many reasons why a cat can sneeze, some of them more serious than others. Sometimes, if they just get a little irritation in their nose, like if they sniff up a little dust or something, they can sneeze intermittently. However, if they sneeze more frequently than that on a regular basis, or if they start having any ocular discharge, which is eye discharge or nasal discharge, it's probably time to see your veterinarian. One of the more common causes of sneezing is called an upper respiratory tract infection, which is kind of like a cold. You may notice that your cat may have some discharge from his eyes or maybe his nose. They can even lose their appetite at times. If this happens, it's best to see your veterinarian so they can help you get your cat through that with some supportive care. Sometimes there are also some more serious causes too, which is the other reason why you want to see your veterinarian. They can have polyps in their nose or even tumors, or sometimes they can get something stuck up there, which we call a foreign body.
I know, I'm sorry.
One surprising cause of a cat sneezing is dental disease. Specifically, if they have an abscess of one of their teeth, it can cause them to sneeze as well. So, a sneeze now and then shouldn't be really anything to worry about, but if it's happening on a regular basis, it's best to get it checked out.
Did you know that along with monkeys and orangutans, cats are one of the most intelligent animals in the world? Today on Top Cats, we're going to hear about one of the most friendly feline breeds. If you like cats, but are put off by their snooty, independent attitude, there is a breed that might just be right for you. The Ragdoll cat, which gets its name from its tendency to go limp as a bag of rags when picked up. This floppy specimen is super friendly, and unlike many other haughty felines, it craves human contact.
Ragdolls are a very, very sweet and loving cat. I guess out of all the cat breeds, they're my favorite because they're such low-maintenance cats. They're so easy to be around.
Ragdolls were selectively bred for just these attributes from the Burman, Burmese, and Persian breeds. An urban kitty myth is that the Ragdoll gets its ability to go limp from the first original rag mom, who got hit by a car and suffered nerve damage. However, any geneticist will tell you that this is entirely bogus.
Their fur is very similar to what a rabbit fur is. It doesn't mat. It's very plush. It doesn't come out in gobs.
Ragdolls have existed for less than 40 years. They are bred to be large, solid animals with a rounded face, which helps prevent some of the eye and nasal problems other breeds can be prone to. But don't be fooled by their size. Ragdolls are lovers, not fighters.
I work in the house most of the time, so he pretty much has his own little chair and he sits next to the computer, and if the chair's a little too far away, he'll meow to have it moved closer so that he can get his pets while I'm typing away on the keyboard.
The Ragdoll is definitely not an outdoor cat. Because of their docile nature, they have a tendency not to defend themselves, and because they're so friendly, they'll go home with anybody. So you definitely don't want to let your Ragdoll outside.
As with any new pet, you should have it examined by a vet. And make sure it's been spayed or neutered and has had all of its vaccinations. If you're looking for a feisty, independent pet, it's not the Ragdoll. These pacifist pussies are gentle, loving, and love to be loved. If you want a cat that's loyal, laid back, and limp as a boiled noodle, the Ragdoll might just be the one. Motivation and inspiration can come in a variety of ways. But can meeting a dog really change people's lives? You better believe it. A dog named Faith was born with only 2 hind legs. But her story of triumph is almost unbelievable. You've just got to see this.
Okay, sometimes in life you're given bad experiences, right? We all know this. There's not much we can do about it. But there is something you can do for yourself. You can determine for yourself that you're not going to take it. You're going to have faith in yourself. You're going to show some perseverance. You're going to change something. And so what I did today was I brought someone here to show you in person what it looks like to walk with faith. Okay? This is my dog, Faith. And as I said, walk with faith. Sometimes life gives you bad experiences. This puppy was actually rejected by her own mother because she could not suckle. She could not walk or be like a normal dog. My son rescued her, and we trained her to be a normal dog, a natural dog. That was our intent, just to train her to be what she was meant to be. And in life, you may have to train yourself to be exactly what you were supposed to be, and you may not know right now. But through challenges and prayer and perseverance and asking yourself over and over, is this really what I was meant for? Is this what I'm supposed to do? You'll find it. And just like faith, sometimes it takes a lot of hard work.
I know all of us have had things that we've had to overcome, and this will give you the opportunity to think about Faith and the things that she's overcome as you face obstacles in your life.
About 3 years ago, Faith became a member of our family. The first time I saw Faith, I said, "Reuben, this dog doesn't have front legs." He's like, "I know. What are we going to do?" And at first I thought, how sad. It's so dirty and ugly. But then I saw her eyes, and her eyes had a whole different look, a different story, a survival look, looking at me as if she knew I was her only hope. And she looked at me like, "You are going to help me, aren't you?" And I didn't have a choice. I looked in her eyes and the puppy love.
Oh, how cute. Hi. Hi. Thank you. All set. Thank you. It was good to see y'all again. Good to see you. Hi. Mama. Uh-huh. Do you want to pet her? Yeah.
The people's reactions to Faith vary. The first initial is, "Wow, I've never seen that before," or "That's different," or "That's cool." I have had a few people that found it sad, but after they see her, meet her, speak with her, talk with her, they see that she's not sad. She's a happy dog, and she doesn't know any different, so they shouldn't be sad.
Bye-bye, baby.
My veterinarian has been my veterinarian for a long time, and I trust her. And she looked at Faith, and she said, "You've got a problem. You know, I'm not going to lie to you. The prognosis is not good. This puppy will not survive unless she can get off her chest and off her chin and walk like a human." She just would not do it on her own. So we actually just lifted food up above her nose levels to force her to put her head up. And when we did this, she realized you can have the food up here, but you can't have the food down here. It had snowed outside, pretty deep snow. We looked at each other and we said, "We can always take the puppy outside in the snow. That's a lot of fun." So we did. We took her outside and literally placed her in the snow on her rear end, just stuck her there and walked away and took pictures because we're cruel that way. But we took pictures of her because she just had the expression immediately of, "Wow, this is cold," or "What am I going to do now?" And we stood there waiting for her to make the move. And when she did, when she took one hop, that's all it took. We put her on a skateboard to show her how motion was and how movement felt. She could see the other pets moving in front of her. She was content to watch them. She was content to see them go by. And we wanted her to mingle and be a part of it. We tried toys. We tried everything. But the one thing that got her up and moving was an old dirty sock. And so we had an old dirty sock that we let tug of war with the other dogs, and she got involved and she forgot her problem. She would stand up even and sit back down, and stand up and sit back down, and stand up and sit back down. And when they'd drag her around, she'd just let them drag her around, and finally she'd use those back legs to stop herself and say, "I don't have to go that far. I can stop right here and I can win this game." So we know that she's a normal dog. She likes to play outside in the rain. She loves the ocean. You know, she chases geese into the water just like any other dog. She doesn't quite swim like other dogs. It looks a little different, but she can swim. And she loves going on walks, and we take her shopping with us. But I think something that she really enjoys doing that any normal dog would like doing is just going to the park. Just going to the park, laying down, watching people, playing with other dogs, just being with people.
I brought the corn.
She'll sit by us when we eat. She'll sit by us when we watch TV. She might run off to the bedroom and just hang out with her other animal friends. I mean, she's no different. It's not like she comes to you and says, you know, pay attention to me, pay attention. It doesn't happen that way. She's just there. She's just an average dog. We do take Faith with us when we go shopping. We take her to church. We take her places that maybe ordinary dogs wouldn't go. And in order to facilitate that, we went ahead and made her a therapy dog. So she does have a special access to places. We go into restaurants and sit down and talk with people who are interested in asking about her. And then we try to find people who would be interested in her condition and also her message of strength and faith and courage. And we have an opportunity to witness or to just talk with them about maybe something in their life that was not so easy to get through, and they had to use their form of faith. And then we introduce her story, and it's a good conversation. It's also just a way to make people understand that they can make it in life with a little perseverance, a little faith. And when people see her and they relate to her story, perhaps children with diabetes is something I can point out, because a child with diabetes who had his arm amputated was sad. He'd already determined that, you know, he wasn't going to survive. He wasn't going to go through with it. And then once he met Faith and we talked for quite a long time, a couple of hours, he decided, you know, I might be able to do this. And so we've agreed to email each other and talk with each other over the next few months to just help him out with some of his needs. When life gets tough, when things don't go our way and we're challenged, it's okay to reach out and ask for help or just have a little faith.